What's up, Internet? My name is Trent Merrill, and I'm going to bring you a news article about Trump's big ugly bill and how that correlates to Trump's new bill that he just passed called the Genius Act, and how those two things seem correlated together. So I'm going to show you this article here, and then I'm going to show you a clip from a content creator called Atrioc, and I'm going to show you how those things seemingly appear to be tied together. So here's the name of the article, if anyone wants to find it. Washington Monthly: Trump's budget could break the economy. And here's the part that I just read, and I was thinking about the language, and it just seemed very irrelevant because I was like, this isn't going to happen, so why are they even saying this? But then I watched this clip in this video from Atrioc, and it all kind of seemed to make more sense. So here we go. Okay. The result of all of this public and borrowing matters greatly because a deficit of 7% of GDP represents 90% of all annual private savings from 2022 to 2024. Those savings average 7.7% of GDP. 4.1% of GDP in personal savings by Americans, and 3.7% of GDP in retained earnings by businesses. On the path set by Trump and ever-compliant congressional Republicans, financing the coming deficits by ourselves would require, in effect, that everyone invest 90% of their yearly savings for retirement, college tuitions, or home down payments, and 90% of undistributed business earnings in new Treasury securities. And I was thinking, like, what a weird thing to say and put into context, because nobody's going to do that. Nobody's taking 90% of their income or savings or anything and putting that into treasury securities. So I thought that was kind of odd. And then I was just watching this video right after, same day, and it all kind of seemed to tie together. So let me just give you the information. You can come up with your own conclusions here.
Move kind of faster. I just want to talk.
So he's going to give a quick synopsis of just the Genius Act and the bill in general, and then he's going to go a little bit more in depth after, and that's the part I really want to hone in on, but I'm just going to let him talk for the first couple minutes here. It's really not long, so bear with me.
Real quick about the Crypto Genius Act. Here's the deal. And this one, I'm actually quite sure that people aren't getting the full story. I'm quite sure that there's stuff people need to understand about the Crypto Genius Act. I wasn't explaining this. I was having a cool conversation about this with the we went out to dinner with all the politics people, all the people that are like part of, they helped make the Lena Khan thing happen. They work in like different campaigns, and we were talking about this and like the behind the scenes stuff of it. And I want you guys to understand. So here's the deal.
It's a very important act, the Genius Act. They named it after me, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you.
Donald Trump signed the Genius Act today, named after him, which is about cryptocurrency regulation in the United States. And essentially it promotes stable coins. It moves enforcement of crypto regulation away from the SEC to a more crypto-friendly organization. It's a very pro-crypto act, okay? And again, my understanding is that the SEC was pretty aggressive against crypto during the Biden years. There was a lot of SEC enforcement of crypto scams. All of that has sort of been abandoned, and now this truly makes crypto very hard to investigate. That's all fine and dandy. And again, a big part of this Genius Act existing is the simple math of hundreds of millions of dollars of donations from the crypto industry into politics. A lot of this is just money into politics to get legislation that benefits crypto. If you are part of Coinbase, you are clapping your hands with joy at this regulation. This is just like less crypto regulation, more money in crypto. That's part of it. But the deeper story here is about US debt. And I want to explain something. So in a country...
Okay, so that's just a quick synopsis of the Genius Act and the bill that he just signed into legislation. And then he's going to go a little bit more in depth here. And this is the part I want you to really pay attention to and see how this correlates to what I just read.
Like Japan, they ran out of... But the deeper story here is about US debt. And I want to explain something. So in a country like Japan, they ran out of other people to buy their debt. Japan has a lot of debt, and they want interest rates to be artificially really low. They pay like 0.1% interest, you know? So nobody wants to buy that. Nobody in America wants to buy that. Nobody in China wants to buy that. Nobody wants to buy that. So what Japan does is they print their own money to buy it, and they force Japanese banks to use a certain percentage, like let's say 20% of their deposits, to also buy Japanese government treasuries. That's what Japan does. There's laws. If you have your money in the bank has to take 20% of that and they buy Japanese treasuries. That's the idea. The idea is like they have to funnel the savings of their countries into their debt to keep the country funded. It's the only way to keep this debt machine going for the country. Now, we don't have that law in America, but what's so interesting is that this stablecoin stuff is roundabout becoming that. So if you take your money and you put it into a stablecoin, that stablecoin takes your dollars and they put it into US treasuries, IOU. That is what they do. So we are supposedly, no, Tether doesn't, but the new ones, the ones that they're regulating with the Genius Act, they're doing that. So the stablecoins are literally a way for crypto, instead of being like outside of the financial system, to become the only way to prop up the current financial system. Right now, we are having crypto be a way for millions of dollars from banks all over to go into government IOUs. But what's so interesting is that if you are a regular person and you take your money and you put it in a stablecoin and they put it in IOU, you don't even get the interest payment. Like, this pays 4.5% interest or more. This doesn't go to you. This just goes to the stablecoin guy. They get to keep that extra yield. You get nothing. So you could have just taken your money and bought an IOU directly and at least gotten interest, but you don't get anything. So honestly, what's actually happening, everyone in crypto is super excited about this, and it will be good for like Bitcoin prices to have all this stablecoin stuff in the banking industry. But what's actually happening is a massive grift of crypto users to fund the government. It is actually a way of turning all of this crypto enthusiasm and hype into a government funding ability to help bring the borrowing costs down on our IOUs. It's sneaky. And again, if you read into what Scott Besson has been saying, he is fully aware of this, and this is the plan. This is like their roundabout way of doing what Japan did to try and keep our debt Ponzi going. It's very interesting. It's like a securitization of treasury bonds in a way. Yes, in a way. I mean, it's taking advantage of the fact that there's passion and interest around crypto to get you to buy an IOU for cheaper, to fund your money into treasury IOUs. But it's just so funny because, you know, in the early days of crypto, they would talk about it like it's going to break the financial system. It's going to be this whole different thing. We need to get out from the collapsing dollar. But in fact, they have fully and completely absorbed crypto into the system. It is now part of the system, and is in fact being used to sustain the system. Crypto is now a weapon to keep the US dollar alive and keep the government debt Ponzi alive. Which is just wild. What a wild end game. Why would you buy this over treasuries? You shouldn't. You absolutely shouldn't, but people want to because of crypto. That's it. It's just a crypto thing. So I just wanted to explain that kind of simply, but actually what I'll end is by saying this is only step one. In all countries going through debt crises like this, so many rules will get changed. They're going to find more and more ways to try and keep the bubble going. And the way to do that is to find some way to turn your savings into government debt. They have to find a way to get you to buy government debt instead of buying stocks or real estate or whatever. Like the rules will change. There's going to be, maybe they'll start forcing pension funds to put a higher percentage of their money into government treasuries, or they'll start making banks do it, or they'll start 401ks will have to buy a certain number of bonds. Whatever it is, they will find a way to get more money into government debt because it's the only way to keep funding our country. Speaking of the economy,
Okay, so that's the clip I wanted you guys to see. So they are, the U.S. government is going to start pushing a stable coin backed by U.S. dollars, and they're going to take those coins and they're going to funnel them into U.S. Treasury securities to fund fucking our debt. So it is a grift. It is a grift to try and fucking get your money into helping the fucking debt that they're creating. And if you go back to this fucking, it's just a massive grift. I mean, this is fucking wild. And if you go back to this article, 90% of all annual private savings would have to go towards the fucking, to go towards this deficit to keep things going, or to offset it. So it's just a really short video, and I just wanted to show you guys that, just because Trump's onto a new grift, and the big ugly bill and the new Genius Act bill, they all seem tied together, and I guarantee more bills are going to be coming into legislation that are designed and to take advantage and grift the American people. So stay educated, stay safe. Thanks for watching.